Hi YouTube minions, this is Fuzzy's Adventures once again. I'd like to go into a little bit in depth on the oil cooler system that I've put in here. It is a CRP plus 1 quart capacity oil cooler tank with added cooling holes and a Hayden 1671 or 1677, sorry, oil cooler tank. Now, on this system, if you so choose to run a setup like this, or even go even bigger somehow, I don't know how you can, but with this setup, I've got about 4.5 quarts in my oil cooling system, and I'm running at about 20 to 30 degrees cooler. I'm about in that range. I haven't had a chance to really do a good test of it and actually get some numbers for you. But on this tank, it'll bolt right in, and all your stock lines will hook up to it from your old oil tank. The only thing you really have to do is pull the grommets out of your stock tank and wedge them into here, and you have to pull out your lower screen that goes in your oil tank. Your clearances are a little close on the header here. I'd suggest possibly taking your head pipe out if you can, and then weasel it back in. You might be able to pull it off. I didn't do it that way. I left my head pipe in, and it was a little bit of wiggling and waggling to try and squeeze it in there. But once I got it in, it was pretty simple to hook up. I want to show you guys something on the other side that I want to let you know about, and that's this top fitting here. It's quite particular in how this nut has to go on it. I was in a hurry because I wanted to get up and running on this quad, and I cross-threaded this, so it's never coming off. I'll just disconnect it from the hose. So be very careful when you install it. Disconnect it from your oil cooler, or when you go, if you take it out and you want something better for cooling, I'd say just leave everything disconnected from here on your chromoly line and tighten it down very carefully first, get it started, then put your rubber hose on and get that all situated. Other than that, everything else seemed to line up really nicely. The lower one is a little tricky, but at least you can get that one nice and square when you're pushing it on there. You don't have a goofy angle to work with. Other than that, everything else is pretty simple. Onto the oil cooler. It's a really nice oil cooler. It doesn't add that much capacity. This Hayden 1677 oil cooler is really nice. It comes with all these brackets. It comes with the bolts, except for this one up here. I just used a 1/2-inch bolt, about 1 inch long. I did have to drill out the hole on this metal bracket in order to get it to fit. And other than that, I mean, it's nice and snug. It doesn't move. But yeah, this kit is really awesome. It comes with everything for the install. You get 4 of these 5/16 bolts with washers and lock nuts. You'll need to cut this bracket if you want to do it in this schematic that I have. It works out really slick. Go down 4 holes, cut it in half, use the remaining piece to bend around and make your bracket guard. That's what I did for my hose so I could protect it more. From the front side, it looks nice and clean. Well, a little dirty from all the seeds, but it doesn't take away from the quad. It doesn't make it look out of place or anything. Do the same thing on this side. You just got to bend and tweak your mounts a little bit to get everything to fit in there nice and neat. This whole cooling system will set you back about $200. The oil tank's about $150, and the oil cooler's about $50. You could probably find it on eBay. But for anybody who has a 440 that's having overheating issues, or you just want your quad to run cooler, so that way it's more efficient and you're not worried about running it hard on trails or on a track, I'd highly recommend this setup. I've had no issues with it. It installed really easily. The one thing I am going to suggest is on the chrome lines, I'd really go and get a brake line cutting tool, or a tubing cutter is what they call them. You put it on there, you cinch it down, you spin it around to cut the tube, and it makes a nice clean cut. You ain't got to worry about grindings in your oil line and getting down in your crankcase and ruining your motor. And if you versus using bolt cutters or something to pinch the line off, it works out really slick, and it gives you a nice surface to work with to push the hose on. You can even flare the line with a brake line flaring kit, and you can probably find it all at your local auto parts stores. Yeah, the install was pretty easy. Pretty much the hardest part was actually taking the old oil cooler out. That's really your hardest part on this whole entire install, because getting your oil cooler in there, yes, it takes a little bit of angling and gentle pushing to get it into place, but once it's in there, it actually fits really nice and neat. The next trickiest part would be getting your brackets to match up right and line up and be all nice and square and kosher. And then you'll have to put your hose on first and push your back bolt here through, and then get that all situated and started so you can get everything mounted in there right. But other than that, it's a really sweet system to run. I'd recommend it for anybody out there who's looking, like I said, to cool your motor even more. I haven't had any issues, and I pray I never do. But any of you out there who want to know more about it that I haven't talked about, any questions, leave them in the crankcase below, and I'll hit you up. Thanks so much. Fuzzy out.